every thought you've had, every choice you've made, every moment of your existence, it's permanently encoded in the structure of space-time. Not metaphorically, literally, the past doesn't disappear. It's frozen in the geometry of the universe forever. And I can show you why this must be true. My name is Roger Penrose, and today I'm going to prove to you that nothing is ever forgotten. Every moment you've lived exists eternally in what physicists call the block universe. And once you understand this, you'll never think about time, memory, or death the same way again. Let me begin with a question. Where is yesterday? You remember it. You can recall what you did, what you thought, what you felt, but where is that moment now? Did it cease to exist? Did it vanish into nothingness the moment now moved forward? Common sense says yes. The past is gone. Only the present moment exists. The future hasn't happened yet. Time flows like a river, carrying us from past through present toward future. And what's behind us is lost forever. But common sense is wrong. Demonstrably, mathematically, inevitably wrong. And the proof comes from Einstein's theory of relativity. In 1905, Einstein showed that time is not absolute. There is no universal now that exists for everyone, everywhere. Your present moment is not the same as mine. Two observers moving relative to each other will disagree about which events are simultaneous, about what is happening now. This is called the relativity of simultaneity. And it's not just theoretical. It's been measured, tested, verified countless times. GPS satellites must account for it, or their positioning would drift by kilometers. Particle accelerators observe it directly when fast-moving particles decay at different rates than stationary ones. But here's the disturbing implication. If there is no universal now, if different observers have different present moments, then the distinction between past, present, and future cannot be fundamental. It must be an illusion, a perspective-dependent artifact of how we experience time, not a feature of reality itself. Think about it this way. Right now, you consider this moment to be the present, but an observer moving past Earth at high speed, say in a spacecraft, would have a different present moment. Events you consider to be in your past might be, from their perspective, happening now. Events you consider to be in your future might, from their perspective, have already occurred. Which perspective is correct? Whose now is the real now? Einstein's answer is neither, or both. There is no preferred reference frame, no absolute present. Every moment in time is equally real. The past still exists. The future already exists. All moments coexist in a four-dimensional structure called space-time. This is the block universe. Space-time is a single, eternal, unchanging four-dimensional manifold. Your entire life, from birth to death, every moment, every experience is a four-dimensional object called a world line. And that world line exists in its entirety, permanently, frozen in the geometry of the universe. You think you are moving through time, experiencing one moment after another. But that's an illusion. You're not moving through space-time. You exist as a static pattern in space-time. What moves is your consciousness, reading out moments along your world line one at a time, creating the subjective experience of temporal flow. But the moments themselves don't flow. They don't change. They don't disappear. They are there in space-time eternally. Let me make this more concrete. Consider a specific moment from your past. Your 10th birthday, perhaps? Where is that moment now? In the block universe picture, it is still there at the specific space-time coordinates where it occurred. It exists just as much as this present moment exists. The only difference is your consciousness is currently experiencing this moment, not that one. But the event itself, the objective fact that you had a 10th birthday, that you blew out candles, that photons bounced off the cake and entered your eyes, that event is a permanent feature of space-time. It happened, and happened in the block universe doesn't mean existed and then stopped existing. It means exists at a particular location in space-time. Now, you might object, but I can change the future. I can make choices. Doesn't that mean the future doesn't exist yet? This is the free will question, and it's subtle. In the block universe, your choices are part of the structure. Your world line branches at decision points, or rather, it has a particular shape that includes those decision points. The fact that you experience making a choice, that you deliberate and feel uncertainty, is part of what it's like to read out that section of your world line. But the outcome is already there, in space-time. not predetermined by some external force, but existing as part of the four-dimensional structure. Your choices are real, they're part of the geometry, but they don't create the future. They are the future, frozen in the eternal now of the block universe. This might seem fatalistic. If everything is already determined, if the future already exists, what's the point of doing anything? But this misunderstands the nature of existence in the block universe. You don't lack agency because your world line is fixed. Your agency is what gives your world line its particular shape. The choices you make are not separate from the structure, they are the structure. You are not watching a movie of your life, you are the movie, and the movie is you. Now let me show you a deeper consequence. If all moments exist eternally in space-time, then every event leaves a permanent imprint on the geometry. This is not just philosophical, it's physical. Consider light. When something happens, when you flip a light switch, when a star explodes, when you blink, photons are emitted. Those photons travel outward at the speed of light, carrying information about the event. They create what's called a light cone, a region of space-time that can be causally affected by the event. Everything inside your past light cone is something that could have influenced you. Everything inside your future light cone is something you could influence. And the boundaries of these cones, the null surfaces, represent the paths of light rays carrying information about events. Here's the key point. These light cones are permanent geometric structures in space-time. The information they carry is encoded in the curvature of space-time itself. Every event you've ever experienced has left its mark on the geometry surrounding you. And not just light. Gravitational waves, ripples in space-time, propagate outward from every massive event at the speed of light. When you move, you create infinitesimal perturbations in the gravitational field. These perturbations propagate outward forever, carrying information about your motion. You might say, but those signals get weaker, they dilute. Eventually they become undetectable. True. But undetectable is not the same as non-existent. The information is still there, encoded in the geometry, even if it's swamped by noise, even if no realistic measurement could ever recover it. The universe remembers. Now let me take this further with a result from my own work, black hole information preservation. In the 1970s, Stephen Hawking discovered that black holes emit radiation, now called Hawking radiation, and eventually evaporate. This created a paradox. If information falls into a black hole and the black hole evaporates, where does the information go? Is it destroyed? For decades, this was a fierce debate. Hawking initially argued that information is lost, violating quantum mechanics' fundamental principle that information is conserved. I argued, and eventually Hawking conceded, that information cannot be destroyed. It must be preserved. But how? If the black hole evaporates completely, how is the information recovered? The answer involves the holographic principle. The information about everything that falls into a black hole is encoded on the event horizon, the boundary, in a two-dimensional structure. When the black hole evaporates, that information is released in the Hawking radiation. Nothing is lost, everything is remembered. This has profound implications. If black holes preserve information, if nothing that falls into them is ever truly erased, then the universe as a whole must preserve information. Every event, every particle interaction, every quantum measurement, all of it leaves a permanent record in the structure of space-time. And here's where my conformal cyclic cosmology enters. In the far future, trillions upon trillions of years from now, the universe will reach a state of maximum entropy. All stars will burn out. All black holes will evaporate. Nothing will remain but a thin sea of photons and gravitons expanding forever into infinite space. But even in that cold, dark, empty future, the information about everything that ever happened is still there, encoded in the correlations between particles and the quantum entanglement in the geometric structure of space-time. And when the conformal transition occurs, when the infinite future of one aeon becomes the Big Bang of the next, that information passes through, not in a form we would recognize, not as memories or records, but as boundary conditions, as initial fluctuations, as the seeds that determine how the next universe evolves. Your life, your choices, your existence, they become part of the initial conditions of the next cosmic cycle. You don't live again, but you echo forward eternally. Now let me address what you're probably thinking. This is just physics. This doesn't mean my experiences are preserved in any meaningful way. This doesn't mean I persist. And you're right, your consciousness, your subjective awareness, the feeling of being you is tied to the specific configuration of your brain at specific moments. When your brain stops functioning, that awareness ceases. You don't experience anything beyond death, but your world line remains. The geometric fact that you existed, that you had experiences, that you made choices, that fact is eternal. Every moment of your conscious life is a permanent feature of the universe's structure. Think of it this way. A sculpture exists in space. It occupies a particular location, has a particular shape. You can walk around it, view it from different angles, but the sculpture itself doesn't change. It's static. Your life is a sculpture in space-time. It occupies a particular location in time, has a particular shape, your world line. From your perspective, experiencing moments sequentially, it feels dynamic. But from the perspective of space-time itself, your entire life is a static, eternal structure. And just as a sculpture leaves an imprint on the space it occupies, the indentation in the floor, the shadows it casts, your world line leaves an imprint on space-time. The curvature you create, the light cones you generate, the gravitational perturbations you produce, these are permanent geometric features. You might ask, but what about quantum mechanics? Doesn't Heisenberg uncertainty mean the past is fuzzy, not definite? This is subtle. Quantum mechanics describes reality in terms of wave functions and probabilities until measurement occurs. After measurement, after decoherence, the result is definite. The wave function has collapsed into a particular outcome. Your past consists of countless quantum measurements, photons hitting your retina, neurons firing in your brain, particles interacting in your cells. Each of these measurements created a definite outcome, and that outcome is now part of the classical history of space-time. It's in the block. The future might be quantum uncertain, described by superpositions and probabilities. But once it becomes past, once it enters the light cone structure of space-time, it's definite, classical, permanent. So here's the picture. You are a four-dimensional pattern in space-time. Your world line extends from your birth to your death. Every moment of your conscious experience is a cross-section of that world line, a specific location in space-time where your brain configuration supports awareness. Those moments don't disappear after you experience them. They remain eternally at their fixed space-time coordinates. You can't revisit them. Consciousness moves forward along the world line, but they're still there. The universe remembers. And not just remembers passively like a recording. The information about your existence is woven into the causal structure of space-time. Every choice you made affected the future light cone emanating from that choice. People you interacted with, objects you touched, photons you emitted, all of these carried information forward. That information spreads, dilutes, becomes entangled with countless other processes. But it never vanishes. It's conserved, transformed, encrypted in increasingly complex correlations, but fundamentally preserved in the quantum state of the universe. When you die, your world line terminates. Your consciousness ends. But the information about your life persists in the memories of people who knew you, in the physical traces you left, photos, writings, objects, in the subtle perturbations your mass created in the gravitational field, in the quantum entanglement between particles that interacted with your body and particles that didn't. All of this information is, in principle, preserved forever. Not in any form you could access or experience, but encoded in the mathematical structure of the universe. And if my conformal cyclic cosmology is correct, that information passes through the cosmic transition at the end of this aeon and influences the initial conditions of the next. The universe is an infinite memory, preserving everything that ever happened and using it as the seed for what happens next. So when people say the past is gone, they mean it's no longer the present. But gone does not mean non-existent. The past exists at its location in space-time, as real as the present, as permanent as geometry itself. Your childhood exists. Your first kiss exists. Your worst mistake exists. Your greatest triumph exists. Not in the sense that you can go back and change them, not in the sense that you can experience them again, but in the sense that they are part of the eternal four-dimensional structure of reality. The block universe is not a cold, dead determinism. It's the preservation of everything that ever mattered. Every moment of joy, every moment of pain, every connection between people. All of it frozen in the geometry of space-time, permanent and real. And when you understand this, when you truly internalize that your life is not a fleeting sequence of moments that vanish into nothing, but an eternal pattern in the fabric of reality. It changes how you think about meaning and significance. Your choices matter, not because they change an undetermined future, but because they are part of the eternal structure. What you do becomes part of what the universe is, forever. You are not writing in sand that will be washed away. You are carving in stone, in space-time, in mathematical truth. So the next time you experience a beautiful moment, remember, that moment is not fleeting. It's not temporary. It will never disappear. It exists at a specific location in space-time, and it will exist there forever, part of the eternal structure of the cosmos. The past doesn't vanish. It's still there, in the block universe, as real as this moment, as permanent as the laws of physics. Every moment you've lived, every thought you've had, every experience you've cherished, it's frozen in the geometry of space-time, forever. You don't fade into nothing. You become part of the eternal pattern, woven into the structure of the universe, remembered not by minds but by reality itself, not living but permanent, not conscious but real, forever woven into what was, what is, and what will be. The universe remembers everything, and that means you are eternal.